Totally sold out to introduce Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb.
Yeah, look at us.
Hello and welcome to Xplay.
On today's show, we have a game full of fast-running zombies who sprint like Carl Lewis.
And an empire-building sim that sadly has no zombies.
Plus, we explore the downside of Splinter Cell Chaos Theory co-op play.
And if you're poor like us, we have a look at a game that's offering $1 million prize to its players.
And finally, later in the show, we review the game that mixes Star Wars with Halo, Republic Commando.
It has the scariest giant Wookiee since the Star Wars Holiday Special.
B. Arthur. But we begin with a survival horror game.
If you've been watching this show at all, you know that we love Resident Evil 4. In fact, we hope that it will do for the GameCube what Grand Theft Auto 3 did for the PS2.
And as many of you know, the success of GTA 3 inspired dozens of cheap clones, from Roadkill to Narc.
Well, now it's Resident Evil 4's turn to get cloned. Here's our review of Cold Fear.
Covering horrible violence with adorable animals just never loses its charm.
Well, if zombies aren't your thing, maybe micromanaging the lives of tiny people is your cup of tea.
However, if that's true, it means you scare easily, but you're also a megalomaniac who might enjoy this review of Heritage of Kings, The Settlers. If you want to play a good strategy game, try Warhammer 40,000 Dawn of War or EA's Battle for Middle-earth. Don't play something called The Settlers.
And don't do what that man did with the bird poo. Just don't.
Paris for Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb.
Yeah. Welcome back to Xplay.
One of the best things about Splinter Cell Chaos Theory is the co-op play.
In other words, you and a friend can play through 4 specific co-op missions together.
Which sounds awesome, unless your friend is stupid, like this.
We were gonna call that piece Splinter Cell Co-op Theater, but then we worried people would think it was a theater cooperative done with Splinter Cell.
Although their production of Waiting for Godot would be riveting. I'd also like to see the works of Eugene O'Neill performed by stealth assassins. You could do Long Day's Journey into My Fist.
And Morgan Webb.
I'm only 1 calorie. Welcome back to Xplay.
Earlier in the show, we told you that one of today's games was offering its players a massive cash prize.
But did we mention it was an online game that you play with thousands of other people? We didn't? Consider yourself warned. Here's our preview of Real Path of the Emperor. Yes, the makers of Real claim that at E3 2006, they will have the best real players in the world compete for $1 million prize. These are the best players in the world, as long as they are residents of the US or Canada.
Lo siento, Mexico.
Coming up, people who are not going to hold your lightsaber. Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb.
Welcome back to Xplay. We've reached the end of the show, and that means it's time to give you our verdict on one of the biggest Star Wars games of the year.
At last year's E3, this was by far the coolest thing we saw from LucasArts.
Except for Lego Star Wars.
Except for Lego Star Wars. But this game is a little like Halo, set in the Star Wars universe.
And in the Star Wars chronology, it's set right before Episode 3 begins, just to get you all excited for the movie's release in May.
Like you weren't excited already.
Nah.
Here's our review of Star Wars Republic Commando.
Okay, now that game is not to be confused with Republican Commando, which is where you play Tom DeLay and you control a squad of lobbyists, and the final boss is the liberal media.
That's gorgeous. Now, I think this is the first Star Wars game since the Atari 2600 with no opening crawl. You know, that thing is a long time ago.
It takes forever, and you like skip through it, and you can. But I think you pretty much know what happened if you saw Episode 2.
Right.
That was at the end where everyone was hacking each other, and then you had the funny droid bits.